Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. Welcome to the special Wednesday edition of the show. WWE Hall of Famer and Mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane. For those of you who don't know WWE lore, I get it. You're very cool. It's cool. I'll nerd. I completely nerd out today. Just it's such a pleasure. I got to talk to Mayor Jacobs last year for Tennessee and Mississippi State. And this year, getting the same chance, but now the Dogs are coming to Starkville. So we talk about wrestling, talk about transfer portal, this matchup. Ask him a couple questions about what it's like to be a public servant, kind of, especially in this climate, in this age, kind of what it means. And then also we get to some wrestling questions that I had towards the end. So, man, very, very thankful for Mayor Jacobs to spend time with me to talk about this weekend's game and more. So a really, really big treat for you coming very soon. But first, we want to let you know that this episode and every episode of this podcast is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. Heath Riles is home to award-winning rubs, seasonings, glaze, marinades, and much more. It's created by 2025 Memphis MA Grand Champion and 81-time Grand Champion Heath Riles. And his products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike. Products are in over 15,000 retailers nationwide. But we'll save you some money. If you go to HeathRilesBarbecue.com, enter promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS 10, you can grab any sauce, marinade, anything. I right here have the lemon pepper buffalo seasoning because I just have that one right here on me. But all of his products are so fantastic, and we'll save you money anytime that you use that promo code. Heath Riles has you covered. Grill with confidence, season like a pro, especially for this weekend, man. We got some good weather. It's not going to be as hot. Get out there on the grill, the smoker. I have a picanha steak or picanha steaks rather, that I'm going to smoke and then sear and then cut up. It's going to be a great time. But I'm going to use Heath Riles' rubs. Also, hey, are you looking for your new favorite hat? Well, look no further than Hovey Dry Goods. Has Tennessee hats, Mississippi State hats, other SEC hats. But if you're looking for your new favorite hat, Hovey is the way to go. Man, they're created kind of in small batches so that they can have the best quality possible. They offer limited edition hats. And so go take a look. It's HoveyDryGoods.com, HOVI drygoods.com. You know, we're talking about Mississippi State and Tennessee. To be honest with you, the Tennessee hat of Old Smoky is fantastic. It's got that cool charcoal gray. Hovey really, really impresses. So whether you're a Mississippi State fan, Ole Miss, several different kinds. They have like a little sale section on their website. There's all kinds of really good stuff. So take a look at their collection of hats at HoveyDryGoods.com. Also, want to thank ARPA's. They're in the heart of the Cotton District. ARPA's Coffee and Bar understands that great food and drinks are best enjoyed in the company of friends and loved ones. And Jose and his family would love for you to come see him in the best part of Starkville this weekend. And hey, we'll save you some money, 15% off every single day when you mention you're a listener of the show. You can't beat that. You want to go ahead, you want to go grab a cup of coffee that's like not some chain, but a unique Venezuelan place? They got you covered, and we'll save you money. Just say, hey, I'm a listener of My Dog's Pod, and they'll say, hey, here's 15% off, and here's something delicious to go about your day. But always thankful for Jose and his family and ARPA's. And lastly, hey, we're presented by ENT Physicians in North Mississippi. They're the largest private ENT practice in the state. And here's the deal. Their goal is very simple: deliver fast, expert, and comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough, sore throat. And their in-office CT scans and same-day allergy testing is there as well. And access to their comprehensive audiology team, offering a full range of services from hearing aids, custom hearing protection, to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians in North Mississippi are committed to remove barriers to care. And they now have new locations in New Albany, in Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. Let's get to the interview with Kane, a.k.a. Glenn Jacobs, Mayor of Knox County. All right. Well, welcome back in to My Dog's Pod on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. And, man, I have an absolute legend, WWE Hall of Famer, but also Mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, is joining us. And I was talking to Glenn just a second ago. You know, there's a lot of previews for this matchup this week. It's an SEC game. Both teams are doing really well this season. And there's a lot of different experts that you can go to. But I thought, man, who would know this area more then the mayor himself. So, Mr. Jacobs, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on Mississippi State and Tennessee this weekend? And specifically, what are your ties to Mississippi? Do you ever spend a lot of time going to random places during your time in wrestling?
Not really. Not in Mississippi. We were at Hattiesburg, I guess. I remember doing a show there. But not a whole lot. Jackson as well, but not a whole lot in Mississippi. But when you think about SEC football, and this game and everything that revolves around that. I mean, I think this season is one of those, because of the transfer portal, because of NIL and all those sort of things. There's just so much more parity in college football than there has been in the past, and you see these players kind of jumping around. And one of the things that I think a lot of us were struggling with this year, to some extent, was what kind of team is UT going to have, because it's not the same team at all that you had last year. I think that a lot of folks are seeing that now. So for better or for worse, it certainly has changed the game. In Hattiesburg, I don't know what I called it. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, the Hattiesburg, Jackson area. I'm sure during that time, was that something with Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
No, that was with it was WWE. We actually did really well in Jackson. A couple times I was there. So yeah. And I just remember doing Hattiesburg once, and basically it's like, oh yeah, Brett Favre played here, so this is pretty cool.
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah. You think about Mississippi State and Tennessee this week, and kind of where both teams are. Mississippi State had a really rough season last year, and Tennessee obviously had a really successful season. But as you mentioned, a lot of turnover on the roster, and Tennessee loses a really close game against Georgia. Really kind of had it in their hand. But it shows you kind of the quality that Tennessee has this season. What are your thoughts about this game specifically, with Tennessee going on the road, going into a place in Starkville that hadn't had a lot to root for, and all of a sudden their team's finally undefeated, so there's going to be people with cowbells in hand?
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how Tennessee bounces back after the Georgia loss, because as you mentioned, they had that game. There probably 3 times that they could have closed the door on the Bulldogs and weren't able to do so. And of course, with a team like that, when you get Georgia down 21-7, you better make sure that you nail the coffin shut, because they're coming back out of it, right? And just weren't able to do that. But at the same time, for those of us here in Knoxville, like, wow, Georgia's a top 5 team, and Tennessee was there the whole time. So there's surely nothing to hang their head about. But I don't think that with the SEC anymore, you can look at any game and say, oh, this one's a cupcake. I mean, it used to be, think about Vandy, and they're going to play Vanderbilt. Well, that's a win. Well, it's not anymore. You actually have to show up, and you have to play you have to be the better team. You have to play like it. And again, I think emotionally with going to Starkville, I think it's going to be a challenge for Tennessee, and I think as much as we're all happy with the Georgia game, and again, showing that they can play like a team with Georgia, get on the road is a completely different environment, and you have to be mature and make good decisions and all those sort of things. So I think it'll be a big test for the Volunteers.
And I have some more kind of nerdy questions to ask you in a little bit, but before we get to those, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. You are a person that serves in the public office and serves the public, and from everything I've seen, whenever you speak about your role, it's something that you really do enjoy and kind of have a privilege to serve in that role. Sure. And I was just thinking, with all of the divisiveness that's in the world, I know that there are things that individuals can do, that I can do whenever I'm reaching out to somebody or talking with someone. But I was wondering, when it comes to you as a mayor, like, what do you think your role is in that, because you have such a big impact, maybe compared to one-on-one?
Yeah, for me, I try to do is I just try to be a human being, and I realize that we're all going to have disagreements, but like if you watch my social media feeds, a lot of times it's not even political stuff. It's whether I'm out doing things in the community, or I just try to be entertaining. Sometimes there is some political stuff. That's what I do for a living. I have to do that. But at the same time, I really do. I think my job as mayor, more than anything else, is to promote our area, our region, and especially in Knox County. And that's one of the great things about sports is that it does bring us all together. And we can forget for a little while what political affiliation we are, whatever other differences we are. We just root for our team. I'll never forget going to Saudi Arabia years and years ago and doing a WWE show there. And they had night before, they had this big party, and there was a 10-year-old kid dressed as the Undertaker, there in like Riyadh. And you're thinking to yourself that you're kind of an ambassador, because people aren't concerned about all the other stuff. They just, they just love wrestling and they just want to be entertained. And as sports in general and entertainment, that's the niche that we should fill. We should bring people together.
That's wonderful, man. All right. When we think about John Cena's retirement tour, last time you and I, we spoke about a year ago. And I think at that point, Cena had announced that he was going to retire. But that was kind of all we knew at the moment. But now we're at kind of the tail end of it. It's almost over. I guess, man, I'd love to know what has your thoughts been about his retirement tour, whether someone's a really big wrestling fan like myself or not. His impact has been huge. And I'd love to know your thoughts about his tour, but also the turn that he made into being a heel after being, a superhero good guy forever.
Yeah, we're all going to miss John. He was the face of a generation. I think he's actually very underrated. When people talk about professional wrestling, I always talk about Flair and Hogan and, Austin and those guys. We forget that Cena was the face of WWE for 2 decades almost. And, he probably had a longer run as the face of the industry than anyone else did. And obviously then went much further with that into mainstream endeavors, whether movies or, doing other things. I credit what I've been able to do as mayor in large part when people ask me, well, the stigma surrounding wrestling. Well, people like Dwayne Johnson and John Cena broke that stigma. And I think people realize now that, we're competent individuals who have a chosen occupation as opposed to just, they're just wrestlers. So that's professionally is very good for us. Man, you always have more fun as the bad guy, though. That's the thing. And I think for John, I think that's a lot of what that was also to prove your ability as a performer. Years ago, I would always think that when artists and entertainers would talk about burnout, that it was whatever, they're just spoiled. And that kind of happened to me because I'm doing this character and I'm like, I can do the character. I can do that in my sleep, but I would like to have something more challenging and something different. That's why the Team Hell No storyline was one of my favorites, because I showed people that I wasn't just the dark brooding character all the time, that I could do something else. And I'm sure for John that was really, I guess, kind of full circle for him in showing that he could be the ultimate good guy, but he could also be a great bad guy as well.
If you think about on your career, there's so many amazing storylines, so many like crazy things. Is there ever like a match or a situation that you go to and say, man, this would be kind of a dream scenario match that either never happened, so like you were wrestling at the same time, or somebody that is now kind of going and you go, man, that would be so cool to be able to match up with them?
Yeah, for me is Andre the Giant. And he passed away before I got into the wrestling business. But that would be the one person, everybody else I've been there, right? And that's the one person that I haven't. And just, he was an anomaly. Someone that big that could do all the things that he could do, especially early in his career. The folks that watch him, like at the WrestleMania against Hogan, he at that point he was well beyond his prime. But if you watch early in his career, he was a tremendous athlete, especially at that size, nearly inhuman, right? So that would be the person I'd have to pick.
All MPW digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley. In Washington, Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW Digital.
Steps away from the drill field on campus and a short walk to Davis Wade Stadium, 5 Points Condominiums puts the Mississippi State University at your doorstep. The fully renovated, large 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom floor plans at over 1,600 square feet of living space feel even bigger with 9-foot ceilings. 5 Points Condominiums is a perfect place for Bulldog students, parents, alumni, and fans to call home. For purchase information on the best deal in Starkville, call Kane and Overstreet Properties at 662-323-8618. That's Kane and Overstreet Properties, 662-323-8618.